On the first day where we realised how much damage had been done, where we realised how high the water had come, there was this real contemplation of just putting the keys to the business in an envelope and sending them off to the bank, because we still owed a lot of money, and just packing up what we had and start again somewhere else. But it wasn't long after that that a little lady who lives just up the road wandered down and she said she could barely walk. She said, I physically can't help with anything, and I have no money to donate to you to help out, but I've gone to the trouble of cooking some bickies for all the volunteers. And I mean, that sort of thing brought a tear to my eye and just hammered home the fact that I was surrounded by people who have just come from nowhere, just come to help. And as I looked around and looked into the eyes and the souls of those people there were the employees. This wasn't just about saving an asset. This is about saving their jobs, and the volunteers, they knew that they were saving jobs and livelihoods, and it wasn't even just our business and the jobs of the employees, where we buy a lot of product and we buy almost everything locally, so it sort of dawned on us that if we stop buying those products from suppliers, they get on the precipice of going broke as well. Sort of got to a point where you say, are we going to just go back and put it back together again and potentially face this next summer and summer after or the summer after? That we said, no, everyone wants us to recover and to rebuild, but let's do it a lot smarter. So there's lots of projects we've since initiated that make us far more resilient for any future floods, and that's really important to us. There were lots of people that came to help us, and there was one school in particular, Aldridge High School, and they're already well known as being a very, very progressive high school here in Maryborough. We had one bunch that came down directly after the flood, once the water had subsided, and they helped us just clean up debris, and we had like tons and tons of debris that had come down river. And it was predominantly girls, and it was amazing to watch the transformation of some of these young girls go from being almost a little prim and proper to rolling their sleeves up and getting covered in mud, and I think even their teachers were inspired by the efforts they put in. There was also some guys that came down from the school, quite a few of them, and they actually helped demolishing cabins, and it sounds a bit weird, but when a building's flooded, you've obviously got to demolish everything that's been damaged before you can rebuild it. So they came down and they learned some valuable skills in the process. They enabled us to be ready to start rebuilding cabins within a week. We had lots of churches that came to assist. We had one councillor in particular, Daniel Sanderson. He came down and did a sterling job. He's the sort of guy that gets voted in for this reason. Some of them kept coming back day after day, and they were here. They were like a little family. We had Shories. They come down with a big excavator and help pull cabins out of the floodwaters. Some of the other people, for example, we had at the Church of Good Hope. They were fantastic. Brought down a lot of tea and coffee and things like that, and water. It's amazing how you need water after a flood, fresh water that is. Gus from the K-Art across the road that came and assisted with wheels and things like that to help us evacuate. We had Craig from Maryborough Windscreens. He just grabbed his four-wheel drive and started pulling people out. We wouldn't have got those people out if he didn't help. We had a neighbour up here who, even after the road flooded, he assisted by dragging cabins out there. Bunnings, Maryborough, look, you don't see them as locals generally, but what an awesome group of people they were. The bank, it sounds strange, nobody seems to thank banks, but I must admit, we rang them and said, look, we won't be able to pay you back for a while, and they realised it was a good thing to look after us, and so they did. The last, but by no means the least in terms of importance, is the state government, because whilst it doesn't put you back in business, to get a flood relief grant of, in our case it was $24,000 or something, doesn't even go close to paying for much, but it allows you to get the cash out there to start getting tradesmen in straight away. Yeah, well, as a final note, it comes back to that key decision time. Do we pack up and move on and get out of this place, or do you look into the eyes of all the community wrapped around the recovery process, and you realise what a wonderful place it is, with such a terrific bunch of people that support you, not only as a business, but all the lives intertwined in that business. And for that reason, we just want to say thanks.